the maracas, I go chick, chiggy, boom, chick, chiggy, boom. Hey!
Welcome to No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, a show that takes a critical look at the disparities between medical school education and society's growing healthcare inequities. Join Dr. Pedro Cuba Pete Greer each episode as he interviews the experts working to transform medical education and ensuring that future doctors are trained to provide equitable and compassionate healthcare for all communities. Dr. Greer received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009, honoring his dedication to providing health care to underserved populations. As Dean of Roseman University College of Medicine in Las Vegas, Dr. Greer is committed to creating a medical school of the future where students embrace the need to unite the heart and science of healthcare. And now, the host of No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, Dr. Pedro Cuba Pete Greer.
Welcome to Cuba Pete. I'm Pedro Jose Greer, and they call me Joe, and in this case, they call me Pete. This is a podcast about the interaction of society, health education, and healthcare in our country, and in particular here in the Valley in Las Vegas. I happen to have the great honor of being the dean at America's newest medical school, Roseman University. We have 64 students that matriculated. We are super excited. By the way, we only had 8 weeks after accreditation to admit a class that all the other medical schools had over 12 months. Well, we did it. Not only did we get 64 great students, we have the highest percentage of those that were actually born and are residents of Las Vegas. Not those that went to UNLV or UNR, but are actually residents here. 37% were first generation. Those will stay. But the most important part is it's the best class in the Valley. They have the highest MCATs and the highest GPA. Way to go, you guys. We're proud of you. Proud to be part of your team. And the fun thing about this podcast that we've had for 5 years, and the last podcast we actually introduced Santi, who's the cameraman here for the last 5 years, is not only the fact that we have some of the most phenomenal guests and I can imagine and people that you want to hear from, but I get to say they're my friend. And today I have Marin Gillis, Dr. Marin Gillis, PhD, and LPH, of which very few people know what that is. What is that, Marin?
I'm very proud of that degree.
I
That's what I put it on. It's when I first came to Roseman, the only pharmacy school in the state, people were going, "You're a licensed pharmacist?" And I said, "No, it's actually a license in philosophy." And it's a degree that no longer exists, but it's from one of the oldest universities in the world and the most prestigious philosophy programs. And it means that in Dutch-speaking worlds, I am a doctorandus.
Okay.
And it means that it was 2.5 years of study, about 20 oral exams,
Wow.
a national written exam that was graded by professors that I did not know they were nationally rated professors, and I got my Latin. And so I was magna cum laude.
So you go to a Catholic Mass occasionally just to be able to hear somebody speak Latin?
Exactly.
Which is great. I had the great honor and pleasure of meeting Marin, what is it, 10, 15
Long time
years?
ago, yeah.
Yeah.
2010.
2010. My God, 15 years ago. When we recruited her from UNR,
Yep.
who had recruited her from the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. So actually
In
you did
Boston,
work
yeah.
in Boston.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it's just not UNR, FIU, and Roseman, but she also is a professor at the American University in Antigua.
Yes.
And so I think that is really cool. By the way, she just happens to do simple little things like become the director for the Cambridge Consortium for Bioethics for the United States of America. Not too bad.
Nope.
Especially since you started in Canada.
I started in Tisdale, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Not only that, you're a Harvard Macy Scholar.
I am.
That's very, very cool. And before that, there's another interest that you have.
Yes.
An interest that's really, really important that ties right into bioethics and all that is women in medicine.
Absolutely.
And you were an assistant dean for that at your...
I was an assistant dean, and I also had the honor of sitting on the American Association of Medical Colleges group on women in medicine and science. And it was a national election And I served there for 3 years to advance women in medicine and science.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Marin,
Yes.
with your experience in education,
Hmm.
your experience in academia, translating across various countries and continents, your experience in academic medicine,
Mhm.
what have we done wrong and what do we need to do right?
Oh my goodness, that's a huge question. Well, I just have to say first that that is always been one of your aims, was to make academic medicine better for everybody so that we have students that flourish, we have faculty who flourish, and all of this is towards being able to deliver the best possible patient care that we can. And I think that one of the things is that we have to break down the concept of hierarchy, because medicine is now not just the physician on top and everybody lower than that. Like, the physician is the leader of the team, but it's a team. And we have to think more interprofessionally. And also the profession.
And the physician has to know that we are the leader of the team when the question is medical.
Absolutely.
When the question is not medical, we need to listen.
Well, this is why, I mean, one of the things that you have been so passionate about and that has driven you is character education and the character, and to develop the characters of our students and our faculty and all of our administrators. And it is about, one of the big ones for you is humility. And humility is knowing what you know and knowing what you don't know. So if you are not the expert in that, you might have views on it, but if there's other people who are experts in that you defer to them.
I had a mentor when I first started that told me, the smartest doctor in the room is not the one who knows the most. It's the one who knows what they don't know.
Exactly. And I mean, some people say, oh, well, by definition, you can't know what you don't know, but you know your limits.
Exactly.
Right? You know your limits. And so one of the things that we're doing with our character-based education, which I have to also say to you, and I know I'm proud of this, and I know that you are too, is that we're the first medical school that is actually incorporating character-based education into our curriculum. And so with regard to...
Which, by the way, is led by Marin.
Yes, and my team. I have an amazing team. But also, this is what you get when you hire philosophers to do medical education. So
I need to be completely transparent.
you do.
I am the only one in my family without a liberal arts degree. And of the 4 of us, 2 of them have philosophy degrees.
Yes.
So let me tell you who says the very least at dinner.
Okay. Yes. Well, one of the things about philosophy is that it does teach you humility, because philosophy is the love of wisdom. It's not that you have it. It's that you love it and you desire it and you're always looking for it, right? And when you have the absolute truth as your measure, you're always going to be wanting.
And you know, the amazing thing is, first of all, we talk about philosophy degrees. Mm-hmm. Well, the head of the Gold Foundation, Kathy Reeves.
Yes, Dr. Kathy Reeves.
Has her undergraduate degree in philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people, like, if you look at it, it's...
Dr. Jim O'Connell.
Oh, Dr. Jim O'Connell.
Has a master's from Cambridge in philosophy. Our dear friend Jim. And, you know, you look at this, and one of the questions that we brought up at the Gold, and I speak to this about with her all the time, is we need to seriously approach the LCME and say, you know what? This has to be a pre-med requirement.
Absolutely. And there was just an article that our...
And by the way, for those that say that's woke,
oh, geez.
By the way, by doing this, what you'd learn is different cultures.
You learn different
everything. A prime example was one of our first students at our prior institution was also the very first liver transplant of a child
ever
I remember
in the state of Florida. She's amazing.
She is now a transplant surgeon.
Herself, yeah. And she married a fellow who had a transplant as well.
She, her interest was transplants in populations that were most vulnerable. She started a super active campaign with the Haitian community until she realized that in their community, even an autopsy was taboo. It was like being an Orthodox Jew. So you need to understand cultures.
Yes.
And you need to understand people to approach them in healthcare.
Well, one of the things about, like, a liberal arts education is that it teaches you different kinds of things, like different skills. It's a skill-based thing, not like to go, I'm going to, produce a whole bunch of baby historians or philosophers or whatever. It's critical thinking skills. And of
That's the most
yes,
critical
absolutely.
thinking skills, because young doctors or young medical students come to us. All they did was memorize in undergraduate, and then for their exams, it's all quantitative. So
Well, it's also dealing with ambiguity, right? And a lot of medicine, it's not just cookie cutter. Like you have to deal with a specific patient in a specific context at a specific time with their preferences and values. And one of the things when I first started to teach university, I almost put down as, well, I actually did, put down as a learning objective, being able to articulate a view that you do not have,
wow.
that's different than yours. Because most people
Wow,
think if
that's
it's not
amazing.
your view, that it's not true. And so if it's not true, I don't need to know what it is. Or you make another person's
If
view
any
literal.
time in society's history, this is a time that information is needed.
Exactly. And because this is the question is not who's, it's like Plato would say, might, like when he was talking in the Republic, it's not might makes right. It's just not the most powerful has the best idea. And what is true is what the most powerful people believe. Right?
100%.
And the question for a democracy is how do people with different points of view get along together?
It's laborious, it's long,
And it's ongoing.
it's ongoing. You want really quick solutions? Get a dictator.
Well, they've proven that doesn't really work, and they don't flourish. And that's one of the things, like getting back to those kinds of things when we talk
Well,
about,
one of the hallmarks of democracy is not having an enormous divide between the wealthiest and the poorest.
well,
And we're
that's
getting to
another
that in
issue.
this country, so that we need to be able to address all these factors that are there.
That's another issue for sure.
And with our medical students, as we train them, we all have our personal beliefs. We all have all these things, but however, they are now in an arena where their personal beliefs have nothing to do with the care of that patient. The only thing that has to do with the care of that patient is the condition of that patient and the ability to stabilize them.
Well, one of the things that I think, though, and this is what we try to point out to them as well, is that there's professional obligations or professional ethical values that come with being a physician, and that people also have their personal values. And so that it's up to them to reflect on what their personal values are. And quite frankly, if you ask most people to say, what are your values? They don't even know. They have to really take some time and examine themselves and to say, what is my own most belief? And then we say, and our job is to say, this is what the profession of medicine demands of you. And then through reflection, they have to see if there's a problem, they shouldn't be in medicine, and maybe they should be in something else.
I agree. We have a long road to go.
Yes, we do.
However, we have people like Dr. Gillis
And her team.
and her team. And it's because of her leadership, because of her intellect, because of her experience. But by the way, you were also a political speechwriter at one point, weren't you?
I worked at a very young age for the Minister of National Defense in Canada, and I wrote letters for the minister's signature. I helped write speeches, but as a special assistant, I was less political and more into what the department was doing. So I would answer letters. I'll never forget this. Answering letters like, why does the Navy not wear denim anymore? Or, things like that. So, but I was very young, but it was also about, I believed in commitment to, as a member of society, that I had to give back. And I left politics and went into academics and in ethics in particular, because I thought that I could have more effect being a teacher.
And ethics is so important, at least in the books that I was taught.
Yes.
In the basis of any human being, your ethics, your morality, your civility is what makes society.
Absolutely. It's answering the question, what should I do?
And so that's why we here prefer to start the medical ethics when they start, not when they're clinical.
And that's something interesting that you brought forward, and that happened when I first came to Florida from Nevada. That as a clinical ethicist, a lot of the ethical decisions come in clinical decision making and trying to empower patients to get their preferences and values known and things like that. And I said, well, I think I'd be most relevant during the clerkships, which is like when our students are rotating through hospitals and through physicians' offices and all the different disciplines, like the main disciplines of medicine as we see it today, right? And you said, no, I want it at the beginning. And I'm going, okay, it's going to be a bit more theoretical for them. And you said they need a language. They need to know the language of this and what it means to respect patient autonomy. What it means to act in the primacy of patient welfare, and what it means to, for example, to act justly with populations with regard to treating people fairly and without discrimination.
And, you guys teach that not just by teaching it, but by example.
Well, I think that's important too, because when we're talking about things like professional behavior through virtuous behavior, one of the things that we've done is to look at all the different roles that a physician has, and one of them is being a leader, right? And the best leader is one who leads by example.
Exactly. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And as you, make sure that is cemented because of what you do.
All we can do is lead them.
That's right.
All we can do is lead them.
You guys, there's rare times when you have opportunities like we do in Las Vegas. We as Las Vegans, all of us here wanting to improve this community, we know that if we do that, we improve this country. And if we improve this country, we improve the world. So let's continue to strive to be the best.
Absolutely. Excellence. That's another one of our values.
Exactly. Well, actually, if you look at what are our values, they're humility, excellence, and respect. And by the way, it spells her.
It certainly does.
And why is that important? Because we also know, you guys, this is science data. And this is a guy talking here, okay? Women make better doctors.
Oh gosh, that's there have been reports of that.
You know,
Surgeons
reports, and even in the New England Journal about a year or a little more ago, better surgeons.
better outcomes.
Yep, better outcomes. So this is just my own little personal thing. Let's become a country that actually has equal rights for women. Let's vote that in. And let's make sure that we have equal rights for everybody, because we want to be the best.
Yeah, all humans.
That's the bottom line. And with that, everybody, have a great fall. Enjoy it.
The weather is so wonderful.
Oh,
right
it's so
now.
beautiful.
Best time.
Say hi to people. Look them in the eye.
Be kind.
Be kind. And let's make this a better world. And the last thing let's pray for, the Raiders. Come on, you guys. Seriously, you're 1-2. Let's win. With that, this is Cuba Pete. You all have a good one.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, like, and comment on your favorite podcast platform. If you'd like to support the groundbreaking work that Dr. Greer is doing at the Roseman University College of Medicine, please donate at the link below. Thanks for tuning in to No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, as together we work to unite the heart and science of healthcare to serve all in our communities. See you next time.